Hi everyone and welcome to Curly-n-Yarny. On this channel I do everything related to weaving, and today we will be weaving curtains on my rigid Heddle loom. So let's get started. So we are currently in the room of the apartment that is dedicated to my weaving studio. And in this room there is one big window that gives me a ton of natural light. And this window actually has a nice view of the building in front, which means that the building in front also has a good view of what I'm doing in the room. So at first I didn't want to put any things in the window because I wanted to keep as much light as possible. And I thought if ever I want curtains, I want to weave them myself. And at some point I started to feel embarrassed that the neighbors could actually see me weave in my pajamas on Sunday morning. So I decided recently that it was enough. I had to get started on those curtains, and so this is what I am doing today. The window in this room is about 46 inches wide if I consider the window itself, but also the trimming on both sides of the window. So I would want my curtains to cover at least 46 inches. So my rigid Heddle loom is only 32 inches wide, so that means that I will need to have 2 panels in order to cover everything up. So I figured that 2 panels would be enough, because if I work the whole width, which is 32 inches, I know that they're going to get a little bit smaller, so there will be a bit of shrinkage. So altogether I'm hoping to have at least something around like 55 inches of width of curtains, so that should be enough to cover it up and look nice and a little bit wavy too. So this is what we're going to see at the end, but this was basically the whole idea. So I've decided to weave the curtains with 8-2 cotton. I like cotton because it's a natural fiber, it is pretty affordable, and I would like the effect that it would give on my window. So I mostly use this yarn here, so 8-2 cotton in the natural color. So basically there's no color in it, this hasn't been dyed at all. But I thought that it might be a bit boring if that was the only yarn inside of the curtains. So I've decided to add a few stripes of blue. And for that I use this blue here, which is jeans, but it's still again 8-2 cotton. Both of them are from Maurice Brassard. So I will link in the description down below all the information about those yarn. Those can be found on the Rolleries website, so I will also link to this website. And note that this will be an affiliate link, so if ever you click on it and make a purchase, I would receive a small commission from it at no more cost to you. That's just a way to help me keep making those videos. So in terms of yarn quantities, if I start with the jeans color, well, for that I really didn't need that much, since that the stripes are so small and I'm not going to use that inside of the weft. So if you have any kind of color lying around in your stash, that would probably be fine for the project. In terms of the natural color, well, then I needed a lot more of yarn. So for the warping, I almost used up all of one of those cones, and the rest was used in the weft. And actually I've been using natural yarn for quite some times now, so I ended up with a lot of like leftover yarn and some cones here and there, so I'm trying to use them all up. So I'm estimating that 1 cone should be enough to finish the whole weaving of the project. So 1 for the warping and 1 for the weaving. Actually, once the project was off the loom, I was able to weight the whole project, but also weight the scrap yarn, which told me that in order to do this whole project, I used in total 2 full bobbins plus a little bit of a 3rd one. So just keep that in mind if ever you wanted to make curtains the same dimensions that I didn't mind. Also, I am using my 15 dpi Heddle, and I single the warp inside of the Heddle, meaning that I have 15 ends per inch for the project. So this would make quite a airy curtain, so I want my curtains not to be too dense, but at the same time I want them to be dense enough so that the neighbors cannot see inside of the room. Also, I am doing a pickup stick pattern, but more on that later, where I will explain exactly what I'm doing with the pattern. For the width of the project, well, of course I'm doing the full width of my loom, so this means 32 inches. So for the length of the project, well, I have decided to do both panels on the same warp. So I would be weaving a very long amount of warping, and then once it's off the loom and we're finished, this is when I will cut the two panels apart. And so for that I warp for 4 meters and 60 centimeters. Here's what it is in inches and yards. So this 4.6 meters takes into account for the waste yarn, but also it contains about 10 inches that is dedicated to sampling, because before starting this project I wasn't exactly sure on the pickup stick pattern I wanted to create, so I wanted to test different things out. So I have decided to keep this small portion for testing, for sampling. Actually this whole process has been recorded on my Ko-fi page, so I will tell you more about this. So Ko-fi is a website that helps creators get connected with people who would want to support them, and so this is why I decided to open up a Ko-fi page. And on my Ko-fi page I have enabled two different options. So the first option is to support me in by a one-time donation in the form of a symbolical coffee, and there's also the membership option. So by joining the membership, people then have access to a different kind of exclusive content. For example, just last week I released a video in which I revealed a secret about what's happening behind the scene of my channel. I also release all of my videos in early access just for them, and I also keep them updated before anyone else on what's going on in some of the projects. So for example, for this curtain projects, they knew what was going on for months before it was even released on YouTube, and I have shared with them the whole process of my sampling, so they've known what options I chose and why I chose them. So if that's something that could interest you, or if you wanted to support my channel and my project, well, you could do so by going onto Ko-fi. So I will link it right here and also in the description down below. So thank you in advance for everyone who would want to help me this way. Also, since that this project was a very long warp, I did the indirect warping method, and I just wanted to let you know that I've been trying to improve my method. I've already made a video about it, and I'm trying to find ways to make it even more easier, even more simpler. So stay tuned, maybe one day we'll have an update to this method. But if ever you wanted to do the same, I would highly suggest the indirect warping method and watching that video. Alright, so now let me give you a bit more details about the pattern itself. So here we have it all, so the whole width of my loom. So basically what I did is that I separated the loom into 8 sections, and those sections were separated with the blue stripes. So the blue stripes are basically 2 threads. So each sections are 4 inches. Since that I have 50 ends per inch, this means that each section are 60 in ends if we take into account the stripes. So that would be 60, 60, 60, and so on, until the last one that is a little bit shorter. So actually it's the other way around, so it's 60, 60, 60, and this one is a little bit shorter because I didn't have a stripe here on the end, so this one is only 58 ends. So please note that I will provide the pattern of my curtains on my website for free. So I will provide a link to this page in the description down below. So feel free to go and check it out. Alright, so now I am ready to insert the pickup stick in order to create my pattern. So I have put my heddle into the down position, and I'm going to give you a little tip or actually something that I like to do, a way to make it a bit easier when inserting the pickup stick. So what I'm going to do, I'm actually going first to insert the pickup stick in front of the heddle, and I'll show you after that how I transfer it to the back of the heddle. So now for the pattern, so I have decided on my pattern, and I don't want it to repeat in every section of my warp. I actually only want it to repeat in every other section. So this one will have no pattern, then pattern, no pattern, pattern, and so on until the end. And so in between each section, the way that it's going to work, I'm going to only look at my warp threads that are right now elevated, so the ones that are inside of the slot. And I'm going to start from the blue line, so this kind of marks the beginning of the section, and this one is kind of the end of the section. I'm going to skip 6 threads, then I'm going to pick up 3, skip 2, pick up 3, skip 2. I'm going to do that 4 times, and then I should be left with another 6 threads at the end of the sections before starting with the blue thread again. And I'm simply going to do that in each section. So let's just get started. So I've done it once here, I'm skipping this section, and now I'm ready to start here. So I'm going to skip 6 threads, starting with the blue line, so that makes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm ready to pick up those 3, I'm skipping 2, pick up 3, skipping 2, pick up 3, skipping 2, and pick up 3. So I've picked up threads 4 times, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm now left with 5 threads here. So on one side I have 6, on the other side I have 5. One thread doesn't really show at all on the final effect. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Pick up 3, skip 2, pick up 3, skip 2, pick up 3, skip 2. Perfect. So now we have the pickup stick in front of the heddle, and if you've already wove with pickup stick before, you know that this is not exactly where we want it to be. We want it to be behind the heddle, so this way it would be possible to reuse it every time we do it one of the pickup stick pick. So what I want to do, I want to transfer my pickup stick to the back, and for this I'm going to use a second pickup stick. I have 2 pickup sticks, and they are the right length for my loom, so it's easy to use, but you could use any other pieces of wood or any pieces of plastic or whatever that would work. And so here's how I'm going to do it. So I am in the neutral position, and I flip the first pickup stick on its side. So now my threads that were picked up are well lifted, and then it is very easy for me to insert my second pickup stick to the back of the loom. Like that. And now I can flip this one back on its side, and I can basically just take it off. The reason why I'm doing it this way is because I find that when I pick up my threads from behind the heddle, I don't see them as much, and also I often need to be doing that standing up, and it can be a bit hurtful on the back. So I like to do this while I'm sitting down and looking in front of the loom. So I simply find it easier to do it this way. So here it goes, if ever you wanted to do the same. And I don't need this pickup stick anymore, so this one can be going back into my storage. So for the whole pattern, I'm only going to be using 1 pickup stick, and it's going to stay in the back of the loom like that. Alright, so we can now start the pattern. So I will be doing the pattern all the way through the project. So I have just woven a pick inside of the down position, and my heddle is now in neutral, but I want it to go into the up position. I take my pickup stick and I slide it behind my heddle, and so now the threads that I picked up are being lifted, and with my shuttle I throw it in to weave one pick. Then I push my shuttle to the back, my pickup stick to the back, I beat, and I weave one pick into the down position. One normal pick into the up position. Two other picks, so another one into the down position. And one last one into the down position. So that's basically one whole repeat of the pattern. So I've created warp float with my pickup sticks. Since this is natural, kind of white on white, it's not a pattern that is really out there and off the charts, but once it's a wet finish and we see the light going through, this is when this whole pattern really gets its essence. So now I am ready to do the pickup stick pattern one more time. So let's look at this. So up position, slide the pickup stick behind the heddle, and I weave one pick. I can slide this back to the back, beat, and I can now weave 5 normal picks. And I'm ready for one more sequence of the pattern. It's as easy as this. Alright, so now I have a super long length of fabric that still needs to be transformed into curtains. So I will not be doing that in this video. I will do a second video just for the transformation and the finishes on this project. So stay tuned if you want to watch this. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, now will be the time to do so. And I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, make sure to give it a big thumbs up, and see you very soon. Bye bye.